better bring the energy.
I'll bring it.
Okay, better.
Okay, go.
Hello! I'm just kidding.
If we keep that in,
You didn't
just
like
give
it?
him a warning. Yeah.
Why am I sitting like this?
I don't know.
This morning, I accidentally put syrup on my eggs.
I'd actually probably do that to enjoy them.
Well, I don't mind it, but
What were you trying to put syrup on?
I was trying to put syrup on the waffle, and I put it
Wow,
on
you
the
made
eggs.
waffles and eggs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Look at you go.
toaster
Eggo.
waffle. Trader Joe's. Whole grain.
Good, though. Those are good.
Welcome into Keep It Real.
Yeah, it's really
I'm Anna. She's Avery. We're just hanging out talking here. You
Yeah.
can keep that in, Jocelyn, honestly. That was a great little anecdote.
Mhm.
We're back.
We gotta stop saying
I'm not
that.
gonna lie to you. Like, we're just gonna do this when we can. When we have the capacity, but we are here, and
Every time we make a commitment speech, I feel like it's just like, let's just don't do that.
no, I'm not even gonna make a speech, but honestly, we haven't really caught up much. Like, we haven't really sat down and had time to chat. We've both kind of been many different places, but I think like one of the biggest things that have happened in Nebraska since we've last talked was definitely John Cook retiring.
Yeah.
And I think I wanted just to spend a little bit of time on that because it's such a icon in the game, in the sport, and he's done so much for women's sports. I feel like we should touch on John, but what was your initial reaction to seeing that retirement?
I'm just laughing how we went from like syrup and eggs to just being like, let's talk about John Cook. Let's see here. I was at the gym when that came out, and this always happens to me. Like, I try to schedule within my week, like when I can go to the gym when we don't have like a game that night or something. And I specifically left the office at a certain time because there were things happening that evening that I was like, I have to be back home at this point. I walk into the gym, I stretch, whatever. That news drops, and I was like, well, that's it. Like, there's no workout happening. I'm like sitting on this one machine, like just cranking out.
Yeah.
I literally like think I did like, I don't know, a quick superset of something. I was like, I have to leave. Like, one, I can't focus.
Yeah.
Two, I'm sitting on this machine holding up space because I'm trying to figure out what the
You were
heck.
holding space for John Cook.
I was holding space for John Cook. Like, what am I supposed to do right now? Like, the one day I had to go, whatever. So, shout out John for letting me not do a workout by dropping that bomb at 5:15. No, it's okay. He can do whatever he wants. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I was ready for that whatsoever. Like, so was everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Like, he had a contract extension. I think if anything, people thought he was going to go when the sophomore class went. But hearing everything he's had to share, I think it makes more than enough sense as to why.
Yeah, I was sitting in my room, and
Where were you?
I was sitting at my desk getting ready to leave for the Creighton basketball game that night, actually. And I saw the message go through, and I was like, okay, well, my plans have changed. I was actually about to walk out the door to go to the game.
Yeah.
At around like 5. Game was at 7:30. And
Was it a men's game?
Yeah, it was a men's basketball game. I don't even really remember who they played because it was so insignificant to that day that
true.
all I remember was like you said, like where you were. And John announced his retirement, about to leave, go back in my apartment, and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta make this video. We have to get out graphics.
Yeah,
so like,
seriously, you put that thing up quick.
I put it up quick.
I was like, she's full makeup.
And luckily I was in full makeup when this news, like, also great timing, John, on your part. So I could just like, I was like, oh, just got my little ring light here. I'll make a video because if not, like, it takes a little time. You gotta get camera ready.
Yeah.
But luckily I was already ready. And it's funny because when I was making the video, I was like making it so quick to where it was within the 15 minutes before they announced Dani Busboom Kelly was taking over.
I know.
So I was like done with the video, about to post it, and then I get another email. It's like, Dani Busboom Kelly has been announced. And I didn't really expect that to be announced that fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how they wanted to do
like
it.
They kind of had to, though.
They did. Like, there was, not many people had questions. You can't make this a national
search, honestly.
No, and it was never going to be. No. But, so yeah, DBK gets announced. I'm, like, redoing the video, and I'm like, oh, gosh. And so I add, like, DBK's part on the end and, like, why she's significant, player, coach, national champion at Nebraska. Yeah. But, yeah, it's funny, our jobs, because they revolve around so many different things in news, and, like, you just truly have to drop everything you're doing And, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if I was at a dinner or
seriously.
a wedding, honestly, if I was at a wedding, if I was in the wedding, if it was my wedding.
Pause. I would you cannot say your vows right now.
I would still pause.
I know. It was weird, too, because I was sitting at the gym and, like, obviously we're in Nebraska. Like, everyone knows what's going on in the sports, I feel like, at all times, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, does everyone here know that John Cook just retired?
Here, like looking around.
Literally, I'm like, it is public. Like, does everyone know? Like, like, when I got it on there, I'm, like, sitting and I'm like, I'm pretty sure if there was a camera on me, I thought it was, like, and then I'm sitting there and I'm trying to piece things together, reading our messages and like my facial expressions. I'm like, I'm waiting for someone to walk over to me and be like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? I'm gonna be like, did you see this? Are you okay? Yeah, I definitely think it's like one of those where were you when moments. Oh, yeah. And like you said, it was just kind of this like literally I was looking around like, okay, clearly no one knows, right? Like clearly. But I agree. It's just crazy stuff. And like my roommate, Lydia, she works in Nebraska athletics and we obviously both work in the space, but we have to keep some information confidential, right? So she found out earlier that day, like their team internally, but she hadn't said anything to me, obviously. Like I said, we both have like our confidential lives that we have to keep certain sports information, right? But once the announcement came out, she texted me, like once it was out on social, she texted me and she just was like, hey, your world is about to be, shaken up or whatever. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, what's going on? And she was like, look at Instagram. And literally the minute I opened Instagram, the email came through.
Yeah.
And I literally texted her back and I was like, OMG. And she was like, yeah, I'm not well. Like, I'm not well at all. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, when did you find out? She's like, we, found out earlier this morning, like the internal team, whatever. And so obviously she was well aware that DBK was going to be hired, but she also didn't share any of that with me. And so, like you said, 15 minutes later, she was like, I know you're at the gym, but like check Instagram again. And I was like, oh my God, sister. And I look, and of course it was posted. But she was like, I'm so excited for her. Yeah. And I think we all are so excited for her and just to see like what this journey turns into. But yeah, I came home from the gym and usually Lydia's like in the living room or she's starting dinner or whatever it is. And all the lights in our apartment were off, like no lamps, no TV, nothing. She was upstairs. I was like, are you okay? She was like, not really. I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, fair. Like I felt like we lost a soldier,
No, yeah.
But yeah, crazy day.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mourning thing because like you don't get to see John Cook on the sidelines anymore, but also like I think he has so much respect and just so much love around the state for what he's done that everyone understands. Like no one's mad. Everyone's just upset like because we won't get to see him out there. No one's actually holding anything against him. I mean, he spent 25 years, 4 national championships. In the same place and like moved volleyball forward so much for women and like I don't know, just what Nebraska's done for the sport of volleyball has been immeasurable and John's been a huge part of that. So I wish him the best of luck as a Cowboy.
I'm actually really, I'm really excited to see like how he interacts with the program now, though, because I think we do have some exciting news. We won't share it, but you have some exciting news.
I'll share it.
No, don't share it yet.
For our loyal followers?
No, I know, but I feel like we can cut it.
Okay.
And use it. But Anna has something exciting coming with Mr. Cook.
So should I say it and we cut it out?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on when this is going to be released, which will probably be this week. We'll just say Anna has something exciting.
We'll have something exciting with Coach Cook.
Yeah.
Soon.
Stay tuned.
Yeah,
can't wait. But I'm excited to see his role.
Yeah.
And how it evolves. Like, even though he won't be directly within the program, he wants to be within the department, right? And the way that he's evolved as a head coach, especially in the last 2 years, like, we've seen it firsthand. But what's it going to look like now, right? Like, we've seen him become this, like, father figure a lot. So, like, I feel like, yes, Harper, but the whole team, we've seen him soften up. Merritt said it the best way after the national title. She was like, from the stories I've heard, he wasn't always like this. So, the way we saw him change, but now how he can be involved and not as a coach, just truly as an ambassador of this team and this program. And I think it's going to be super cool every time he is around this team or in the building or wherever it may be, like just knowing that the team knows John's here or like, just having truly a legend on your side. I think it's going to be really cool to watch that process. And I just can't wait let me take that back. I definitely can wait. I can wait. But when these sophomores or seniors, I think it's been really cool to watch how Cook is around the program, or maybe if he's able to come back on senior day and senior night or whatever that is.
That would be really cool.
So just those kind of moments, right? Like knowing that this is a relationship he'll have with all of his teams, especially these last few teams forever. And so it'll just be different for all of us to see how he interacts. But I'm also really excited for this DBK era and, you know, the way that she interacts with her team. And it's just different to have, you know, the chemistry between, you know, a female coach and a team is also very different too. So I think it'll be cool to see, you know, how the team brings her in and how it changes them as well.
Yeah, it's apparent that they love her already. So
for sure.
I'm excited for Husker Nation to get to know DBK again as a head coach this time. So it'll be fun. But yeah, moving on. What have you been up to?
Well, let's see. I don't want to do the whole catch-up thing, but we really were back here in December. So since then, it's been like Husker football ended. We won the bowl game.
Yep.
You know, I didn't say we won the bowl. We were there when they won the bowl game.
Yep.
So there was that. We come back. Supernovas started. I just feel like it's once football season's over, we always think there's like this down period, but it's just like not true whatsoever. It's just more sporadic. So high school basketball, college hoops, hockey. I don't know. I just feel like I've kind of been. It's not very consistent. It's just like everywhere. You know?
It's been quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you've been traveling a whole bunch.
I have.
CBS.
Literally, like
games.
every week, I've been.
I know.
Been out and about, either in one of the Dakotas.
I was gonna say bopping around all the cold states out here.
I've been in Minneapolis. I took my first trip to Fargo, North Dakota.
What'd you think?
Very cold. When I went, we did tour the Fargo Dome. Pretty dope.
Yep.
I would love to go for a football game. I think
cool.
that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. North Dakota, it was just like a cool vibe because everyone there, I don't know. It's just like a cool vibe in Fargo because it's just so interesting to me that like
people live there.
Yes, people live there, but also like they love it.
No,
like
I
they
know.
love their sports. Like NDSU fans, like they are true diehard fans. I would say the same with UND and Grand Forks. Like that's all they have really there. Like they've got that and they've got their community. And like when I went into the game, like there were a few older fans that probably had been season ticket holders like 20 years. They're like, welcome to Fargo. Like how's everything been? And like knew my name and knew what I was doing there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like you don't always get that everywhere. But
for sure.
It's been cool traveling to different mid-major programs and seeing like their venues and their fans. St. Thomas was crazy. It's literally a gym for like 1,200 people.
Yeah, it's kind of like a high school gym,
It's like a high school gym, but like college level play, obviously, and then like the college atmosphere around it. St. Thomas, by the way, beautiful campus. Love it.
I know.
I think if I would have visited that place when I was in high school, I probably would have went there. But beautiful campus, electric atmosphere, like high school gym vibes, people on top of each other. Like it's crazy.
They're a good team too.
Yeah, they're a great team in the Summit League.
Yeah.
They beat NDSU when we were up there for a CBS game, but yeah, that slate has been really fun for me. It's my second year with CBS Sports Network and getting to do those games. Like I never take for granted, like getting to be on national TV and sharing these stories of athletes. And I think that's something that I've really understood how to do is getting to know athletes quickly, like over the phone.
Yeah, it's like a 30-minute chat.
Yeah,
right?
and then like sharing their stories and like really getting to know them. Like it's honestly kind of like a therapy session for this athlete. I'm like, what is the biggest piece of adversity you've been through, or what is the toughest thing that you had to endure, whether that's an injury or you lose a family member or you play for somebody. You just never know.
Yeah.
And so I think like getting the privilege to like tell those stories have been some of my most favorite memories, and like I think I've really leaned in and embraced that because it's not always easy to like try to break into someone's life quickly over the phone, but like you just kind of have to explain like, hey, I'm here to highlight you and your story, and there's probably not many opportunities that you get to do that on national TV and like get to have somebody talk about what you've been through or what makes you who you are. So it's been fun to like really get into that aspect.
Yeah, I would echo that because I feel like every time that we have a coach's call or player call or whatever it is, like I love asking, hey, who's not going to show up on the stat sheet that is like the reason your team is who they are, or whether it's a few players, because you can tell the tone in the coach's voice has changed. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you for asking that, or oh my gosh, listen to this, or oh, I have to tell you guys this, or you have no idea what this person means to our team, right? And of course, they could talk about things all day that are tactical and technical and all those kind of things, but the minute that they get to talk about their players and like be proud of them, or I mean, oftentimes, like, other players love to talk about their teammates more than themselves at times. If they're, prompted to, it's easier to do so. And they just have such cool insight to share about, I don't know, like being a part of a team is a hard thing to do. Like it's awesome, but it's also a hard, like you just go through, I don't know, call it trauma bonding sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, but there's only things that you guys will understand about one another, or only 20 people at this point in time understand everything that you're going through, or going through the exact same 4 years or whatever it is. Right. So I think to get behind the curtain to share those things, like when I listen to a broadcast, like, yeah, it's awesome when someone shares with me some crazy cool stat for sure that stands out, but like I will know exactly what you said about a player when you tell me more about the things they've been through. Or it doesn't always have to be the sob stories either too, like, you know, it's just how great of a teammate so and so is, or listen to this funny story, and this, because of this story, like we've turned everything around. So I would agree with you. I think that's just the most special thing about our jobs, honestly, is because I think once you give people a human interest aspect, it's also very hard to be judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not
that's
kind
what
of
we need.
Yeah, and that's not our goal to be like, oh,
Yeah.
well, if you knew this about this person. But I think that's kind of the whole point. Like, me and
We're
you've talked about
humanizing
this
these people,
a lot. Like, College Game Day is one of our favorite shows. It has been, because there's always that one element of just storytelling, or everyone's personalities are allowed to come out. And I think that's just what we need more of in sports. And I think we are getting there. We're definitely getting there. And I think we've seen the added value through social media and how much we're allowed to see. But I think that's just the coolest. And I'm sure for you, it's been like just super cool, because it's the Summit League. So you're going to all these games, and even though it might not be the same like team or matchups, like you're like, okay, well, I talked to you a few weeks ago and I can bring this into this. And little do you know that I know this story versus this story right now. And that was kind of things.
It gets a lot easier when I've covered teams multiple times.
Yeah.
So now I have like a running list of like, okay, I've talked to this player, I know his story. And then I kind of have a mental checklist of like, okay, I didn't get to share this guy's story or this girl's story, so I'm going to make sure to do it this next time. Because you can't fit everything into a broadcast. Like, I probably have 7 to 10 pages of notes that I go in, and I maybe get to air
10%.
half a page. Like,
truly.
Really, like, not much of it, and that's just because the pace of the play, like, sometimes it doesn't allow for reporters to get in. There's also sponsored elements we have to get into all of our broadcasts, so, like, it's just not always possible. But that's not to say I'm not going to prepare, like,
for sure,
everything's going to air. So I think that's the other big thing is, like, learning. Not everything's going to make air, and that's okay, but
it's never going to go to waste.
It's never going to go to waste. Like, I'll have it for the next broadcast, hopefully, or maybe I just had a great conversation with this person, like, and it's never going to go anywhere, but hey, that's okay, because it's probably
still word of mouth, though. Like, now you know this, and, like, you're going to a conversation with someone else now, and it's like, oh, my God, how crazy. Listen to this story. Or it might even prepare you for your interview at the end of the game. Like, 100%. I didn't say it, but I have so much information on you, and you.
That's been the other big thing I've tried to implement is, like, in the post-game interviews, especially for these CBS games with, like, these mid-major schools who don't really get a lot of national attention, I always make sure to, like, bring up, to your point, like, their true personal stories, too, within it. Like, Jackson Money, the NDSU star who's literally going to potentially be drafted. He's a Fargo native, was never recruited by NDSU, went D2, and then ended up coming back home and getting to play for NDSU. So really cool story. So, like, I brought that up to him when he had, I don't remember how many points he had, but he had a team high that night and won the game for his team, essentially. So, so, like, finding ways to bring their personal stories in as much as I can has been a big thing. But it's been fun. I felt a lot more confident this go-around. I felt like, I don't know, there's always nerves, and I always just want to do really well. So it's not always the easiest, like, going into stuff and, like, having a lot of pressure on yourself. But I think I've learned, like, over the time, just the more fun I have and the more free I feel, the better I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of pressure. Like, I got, like, 15 seconds each time to make a great impression on whoever's watching. So it's a lot of pressure, but it's also really fun. And I've enjoyed it, I would say, more this year, too, because of that.
I think the operations side goes into that too. Like, you know, you're going to stay, you know, where you're entering the building. Like, these are little things that, like, don't seem important, but, like, not having to worry about logistics, like, it lets you just rely on what you need to focus on. And I think it's just funny how that plays into it. You're like, I'm not concerned about, I'm not concerned about, I mean, obviously these things are kind of taken care of for some things, but, like, you know, transportation, or what door am I going into? Do they know that I'm checking in here? Like, does this person know me? Does this person know that I'm supposed to be, you know, getting my equipment here, whatever it might be, sound checks, all that kind of things.
So it's so much easier because I know the crew. I know most of the SIDs by now for every school, so it's really easy.
Right.
But,
What's coming up? What's on the radar?
Sunday I have my final regular season game, and that is South Dakota State against Kansas City.
Where is it?
That's going to be in Brookings. So I've got to drive up to Brookings pretty early Sunday morning. I think I'm gonna
Sunday?
Yeah. Did I say Saturday?
I think you did.
It's Sunday morning.
Okay.
I lied. Well, I got to drive up Sunday morning. Game's at 1. It's like a 3.5 hour drive.
So you're gonna do it before.
So I think I'm just gonna
go
up that. I don't know. I love doing trips where I only get to spend in one day. Like makes my life a lot easier.
True.
Not having to spend the night.
True.
Pack all my stuff, my makeup, my clothes. What if something goes wrong with my outfit? You never know. It's always better to be at home. But
that's true.
Yeah. You got anything else, Avery, for me?
Thinking. I had a really cool story. I don't know if you saw it, but what's on my radar is I get to watch my brothers play baseball a lot more this spring because they're both in the same place.
Yeah.
It's not really work related. Hope we're all okay with that.
Yeah.
Please. So I have a few more weekends scheduled, random, sporadically, really, when we can here in March, April. But not last weekend. I was there, but the weekend before. So, backstory. My younger brother is a freshman. My older brother is a senior. They both play baseball at the same school. We've never had them play together before. Obviously, there's a 3-year gap. So, yes, they had high school, but my younger brother, only suited up for varsity. They had, all these seniors. So, he was around the team, but he wasn't really, playing.
Yeah.
So, he was on JV his freshman year, all that kind of stuff. So, this is the first time they're, actually, grinding it out together, doing the exact same things. So, it was a Friday game, and they were down. I want to say it was 5-9. My little brother comes in to pinch hit. He gets a bases clearing double, 3 RBIs for his first ever collegiate hit.
Wow.
Crazy, right? And so here I am. I'm on a meeting. We're on a Supernovas meeting. I am at home because I was originally supposed to go to a Nebraska women's basketball game. I wasn't feeling well. So I'm sitting at home. I'm doing this meeting. I'm watching the game. And they say Howard. And I look, and the camera angle is on my older brother who is on deck. And I'm like, that's not Kyson. They must have it wrong. Who's running the bases? Who just hit that? Well, then they show me, and it's my youngest brother on second base. And I'm like, wait, what? How did I miss this? Well, I had the volume kind of down because we're in this meeting. And so I rewind, I watch the whole thing. I literally watch him they made a pitching change. Because of the pitching change, they put my brother in who's a lefty. So he walks up there, and so that's why I had missed it. Anywho, so he's sitting on second base, whatever, crazy hit, goes off the wall for your first collegiate hit. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy for him, over the moon, right? My parents are there sending videos, yada, yada. I'm just so proud of him, whatever. Being a freshman, that's just, you don't always get those opportunities. So my older brother is now up to bat, and they are literally giving the background. They're like, let's see if Kyson Howard can, bring home his brother. How crazy, whatever. My older brother hits a home run back to back. So he brings home my little brother who's standing on second. It just was the craziest thing quite literally ever for our family because it just was
Did your mom cry?
Literally, I'm crying. I'm crying because I was so proud of my little brother because he was being recruited as a 2-way player, but most schools wanted him as a PO, and he's just I don't want to do that. I love hitting. I love playing outfield. I like being a 2-inning middle relief guy. I don't want to limit myself in this school that was recruiting him, where my older brother went. They're like, we want that. We don't want to take the bat out of your hands. So the fact that he got up there and his first opportunity was at the plate and not the mound, and he
really cool,
crushed it. I just was literally tearing up because I was just so proud of him that he just proved a lot of people who even during winter break were you probably should just start focusing on pitching. You've gotten so much stronger, your velocity's up. And he's like, no, I'm going to keep hitting. And he came back in his second week and, gets the opportunity. And I just was literally crying for him. And then that next opportunity comes. I just was oh my God, this is a literal dream come true. If the season ended tomorrow, we have this moment forever. So just this crazy, crazy thing that happened to open up the season. So I'm just over the moon for both of them that they get these memories together, but also just that I actually have time that I carved out intentionally this year that sometimes I think I don't know, you might do this too, but I put some guilt on myself if I leave or I'm I'm not available or whatever. We're so busy all the time, but I know everyone else here is busy all the time. So before the season was hey, I'm not going to be here for this. I'm not going to be here for this. And so to have that moment and I wasn't there, I'm this is why I'm going to carve out these moments because my brother's a senior. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So even though it's not work related, those are the things that are coming up for me. And my parents are renting a house in Colorado Springs because they're both there.
Nice.
They drive every freaking week.
How many hours is that from
9
KC?
hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
My parents know what it's like when my career was over. They're like, it's over. You know,
Yeah.
like, why would we miss it? So because both boys are there, there's no one to, like, be home for his senior season or whatever. So they're going to have a house out there. So I'm actually going to be able to work from a house, like, during the week. Yeah. And there's a few that, like, they're both home. So I can, like, hit 2 weeks. And I'm like, Sasha, I promise I'm not going to be, like, working from a hotel or not working. Like, we actually have a home base. I'll have, like, an actual routine of my day just there. But I only have, like, 2 opportunities to really do that. So
that's really cool. I'm glad you get to.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I, like, think about it, and it, like, makes me cry. Because I'm like, I can't believe it's this last year. But I don't know. It's just so hard because this is the craziest time of year for us, even though, like, it's not football and it's not whatever. Like, it just, everything happens all at once, I swear to God. But anywho, that's kind of what's, like, coming up. Really.
I love that.
We'll have March, so I'm saying that as if
March
that's not what's coming up, but for me, like, that's the biggest thing.
That's great. That's way more important than anything.
No, just crazy stuff. But
yeah,
maybe if you're out in Colorado,
you
should just hang out.
I know I will be. I think after my March Madness is done, so whenever Creighton decides to lose in March Madness, then I think I'm gonna go from wherever I am to Colorado Springs.
We're gonna be kind of like switching places because me and Mike go to whatchamacallit, the first weekend of Summit League basketball tournament, which, who knows, that could be what takes us everywhere this year too. I shouldn't say everywhere, and I shouldn't say this year. I should say multiple places in March, but
yeah, Omaha could make it.
It could make it. That'd be crazy.
Be amazing.
Crazy. Yeah. Do you think, I mean, you've been covering, I guess we'll end on this, like, because there's obviously the weird thing with St. Thomas, they have one more year that they can't.
Yeah.
With Omaha having, I don't know, let's say if Omaha doesn't win in that final, well, they would have to play St. Thomas, and if they lost, it would be them. But do you think there's a chance that the Summit League could have 2 teams this year?
No. Okay. I don't think so. I don't think anyone will get an at-large.
Yeah. Because didn't we have one last year, or did I make that up?
No, I don't know.
Did someone go to the NIT, and maybe that's what it was?
It might have been that. I don't know if there's been there might have been multiple basketball ones at some point, but I don't know when that would have been.
There was one, because, like, this year, men's soccer got 2 bids, which was, like, thank gosh, like, thank you for doing that. Denver and Kansas City made it, which was great, but, like, obviously the Summit League doesn't get, which I get it, I understand, in terms of all things
if they expand it, though.
But, I know.
That's my question is, like, if you expand this NCAA tournament, are you just going to let more Power 5s in, or are we going to look at some mid-majors? Because, like, 20-1 teams, if you're, like, a 25-1 team in a mid-major, like, why do you not get to go over a Big Ten school that's 4 and whatever in Big Ten play?
17-9 or something.
Yeah, like or 500 or below 500. I don't know, but.
Or I guess, thinking 15 and whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I just was curious because I just was, like, thinking about that it would have to be Omaha and St. Thomas and them losing.
So, so the regular season champion will go to March Madness if St. Thomas wins the tournament.
Oh.
So it's not the runner-up of the championship game. Yeah,
Did they change that?
No, that's how it's been. It's a regular season champion. I don't know the answer if St. Thomas were to win both.
Okay.
We'd have to see.
Because, like, last year, St. Thomas was obviously in that Final Four of the
probably
tournament.
Just the runner-up
And it was like, let's see, it was SDSU, St. Thomas, NDSU, Omaha, Denver, one of those, I don't know, something like that. And I remember people discussing it, and I thought it was the runner-up. Okay.
Yeah, so regular season champion. So that's obviously there's a lot on the line for this regular season championship too. Like
a lot. That's true.
So we'll see. Exciting.
Crazy
Lots of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us on Keep It Real. We really kept it real today. I'm glad we got into some family stuff too. It's way better than work.
Syrup and eggs.
And syrup and eggs, which isn't a bad combo at all.
No, it's not, honestly.
Totally fine.
No, it's fine.
All right. Well, we'll chat with you next time. Shout out our producer, Jocelyn. Bye.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.